Hey guys, and welcome back to a new DIY kit video. Today we're going to be going over our Nightmare Before Christmas video. There's Jack Skellington, Sally, and Oogie Boogie. So let's get started. So first we're going to go over our contents. We have our glitter tape, we have our magnets, our coordinating glitters, and our glue and glitter spoon. So our first glitter we're gonna have here, the green goes with the Oogie Boogie, the red is gonna go with Sally, and then we're gonna split the black between Jack Skellington and the face of Sally. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so once we have everything out of the package, we're gonna go over what's inside. There's your magnet backing, your silver sheet, your white sheet, your clear sheets, and then we have our two top black pieces. Now, we are just going to keep the outline, and then this top black piece is just going to help us put all the pieces where they need to go. So you will not be keeping this. This will be garbage afterward. So we're going to start off with our magnet sheet and our silver sheet. Now, Jack's face is almost a circle, but it's kind of egg-shaped. So we're going to line it up first so we can see which direction it's going to go. Then slide it down just a little bit so you can peel off the top of this sheet and fold it over just a little bit. And then we'll line it up again. You can kind of see that there's a flat piece in this corner. That's what I like to use to line it up. I'll kind of just push it up against my fingers so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then push it on the top where you took off your backing paper. The next piece we're going to need is our white sheet. Now we're going to look again for that straight side we want on the left. So there's this straight portion here. It's going to make it easier to line up on this side like that. And then we're going to take our glue and glue the very edge to make sure that the foam tape stays in place. And then we're going to line up that side with this one and get it as centered as possible. It's okay if the glue seeps out the side. It will dry clear. And then just press it down. You can wipe the glue away with your finger. And there you have it. Now we're going to be referencing this straight corner a lot because it's the easiest way to center your pieces. So right here we have this straight corner on the side with our clear sheet, and then the straight corner on the side with our outline. We're going to peel the first piece off. So you'll have the dot. There's going to be two Sharpie marks on your clear paper. There's going to be a dot and there's going to be a slash. So you want to take off the acetate sheet with the dot because that's going to be the very top. And then just make sure you have it lined up and you know your orientation. Then we're going to very gently just put dots with your glue because you don't need that much of it. And then we're going to put it right on top, lining up those straight edges. And if you get it wrong, you could just peel it back up. The glue dries clear and it doesn't dry super fast. And then we can kind of put over it like that. And then there you have it. So next we're going to do the foam tape. You're going to need your base piece and the foam tape. We're going to take this straight piece on the left side so that we start the foam tape at the top. I like starting the foam tape at the top so that if it comes apart for any reason, all your glitter doesn't fall out. So what we're gonna do is place this on the top and press down. And then we're just gonna go in a circle all the way around the edge. You wanna push down and kind of wiggle, and that'll help this from not coming off the backing paper. It's okay if it does come off, because it's supposed to eventually. Just makes it easier for putting the glitter on. But you press down with the hand on top of the foam tape, and then you pull with this one and kind of wiggle it around a little, all the way around. And then once we reach the top, we'll just take some scissors, and if you want to be safe and sorry, you can overlap just a little bit. It'll all get smushed under the clear sheet, and cut that off. And there you go, there's your foam tape. And now for the glitter. So we're gonna take our glitter, and remember we have to save some of this for Sally's face. So save a couple scoops for that, and then just put the rest of it in here. And then we're gonna shake it a little bit, oopsies, to make sure it's all nice and flat. And then I'll save the rest for Sally's face. Don't forget to screw the top back on so that your glitter doesn't go everywhere. So now we're going to take this off, and then we're going to peel off this backing sheet. So now there's no Sharpie, and we're going to center it on top of your magnet. So I like to look from the top, and then I'm matching up this piece again because it's my easiest point to look at, and I'm just gonna press it down. And then looks like some of my glitter is being stubborn, so I'm gonna take the back of my spoon and kind of just knock it over and push it all down. And there you have the glitter part. We're going to do the test to make sure no glitter falls out. Make it all nice and flat. And then we're gonna do the face now. So we're going to take everything out of this bag. And we're mostly gonna use this template for the eyes and the nose. The mouth is not too difficult to put on, or the eyebrow, once you have the eyes centered. So again, flat side of the face, stick it in here. It should fit perfect because it was cut right from inside of it. And then what we're going to do is take our glue and just put a little bit here and a little bit here, and then 2 dots for the nose, like that. And then we'll just match up our pieces like a puzzle piece. We'll slip it right in there, and then slip this right in here. And then our nose pieces, I just like to stick them with my finger and press it right in. And then our second nose piece. Boom. Okay, so now what I like to do is kind of push back on this magnet part to take this sheet off. It's okay if things peel up just a little bit, but the faster you take it off, the faster chance you have of it not drying if you put glue, a little too much glue. And there you have his eyes and his nose. And we're gonna take the mouth, and remember how we did dots for this? We're gonna do dots for this again. So we're just gonna do little tiny glue dots. You can even spread the dots around up onto the teeth if you'd like. And then you'll take it and put it on. And then the last piece we have is the eyebrow. So for this one, I think I'm just going to put a couple of dots of glue on here because the piece is so small. You can do it either way. And just remember that it dries clear, so if you have a little bit of extra, it's not really gonna be noticeable. And there you have it. Okay, so you can see mine is lifting up a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, but I can definitely notice it. What I'm gonna do is put my finger down, kind of lift that part up a little, and stick some glue underneath, and then just press it down again until it dries and look much better. I'd show you it glowing in the dark, but it is definitely daytime today, so we won't be able to do that. And there you go. The next magnet we're going to do is Oogie Boogie. You'll have your tiny pieces, your black paper with the template and the outline, your clear sheets, your green sheet, your silver sheet, and your magnet paper. So as always, we're going to start off with the magnet paper. You're going to peel off a little bit of the top, fold it over, put your silver sheet on top. And I kind of like pushing it with my fingers. I don't know if it's hard to tell or not, but then you can have it lined up almost perfect. And then push down on wherever you peeled your paper off. And now it's stuck, won't fall off. Pull this up and just grab that and pull back. Make sure it's lined again. You can kind of tug at it because it's not on there yet. Make sure it's all nice and lined up. And then we have our green sheet. Just to make sure you have it in the right direction, put it on your silver sheet and make sure everything matches up. Once you do that, we're going to flip it upside down and then use your glue on the very edge. Once you have your glue on the very edge, you'll turn it right back over and then center it on your silver sheet of paper. Press down nice and good to make sure everything is adhered. And there you go. Okay, so the next piece we're going to do is our acetate. Lining up here again to make sure we are going on the right direction will be very helpful. We're going to peel off our top protective cover and then grab your outline piece. After that, we're going to take our glue bottle and just do little tiny dots across the whole thing. Once you're finished with that, you'll flip it upside down and center it onto your clear sheet. And press down. There you go. Now what we're going to do differently with this one, which you could do with the Jack one if you decide to do Oogie Boogie first and see this first, is before we start doing the glitter, we can do the face. We're going to push this in here so we have our outline and open up our baggie, take everything out and start gluing everything down. So we'll just do a couple of dots, fill it in. Same with the eyebrows. And you could do the mouth in here too this time because it's a little bit thicker. And then just start plugging all of your pieces in. And if it doesn't fit exactly, that's totally fine. You can just wiggle it. We just have to be careful when we peel the paper up later. I'll show you. I guess I could do this up here more. And then put this in there. Okay, so we're gonna do again is push back this back piece and this will pop out. Now you kind of want to have your hands over the cutout pieces because when you peel them up like this, sometimes they'll come up with it. So if you're pushing down on it and pulling up at the same time, it'll stay on there. And then we can go and push it down afterwards to make sure it's as flat as it can be. There you go. And then see, some of my pieces have risen from that. I'm just gonna push it down with my fingers and it's all nice and flat again. And there you have Oogie Boogie's face. The next step is going to be our foam tape again. We're gonna start at the top like we always do and just push down with this finger and pull with this finger. And when you get to the corner, you'll push down with this finger and pull down with this foam tape. Hand, push, push down with this finger, pull this way, push. It's okay if you rip the acetate. It's gonna happen. It gets in your favor anyway. And then just follow the very, very outline edge. Now this, it's a little rigid. It's totally fine if you just go straight across and don't go through the ridges. I use the black foam tape to match the outline, so it's really hard to tell the difference. So see, my curves are popping up a little bit. With the backing paper, it's totally fine. It happens all the time. And there you go. We'll take our scissors, cut the overlap just a little bit, and take away the foam tape. And now for the glitter. So this one, you don't have to save any for anything else. So if you want to just dump it all in there, you totally can. Or use your spoon. We'll flatten it out. It might be a little too much. If you don't use all of it, you don't use all of it. And then I see this one is a little too big, so I'm going to take it out. I don't know if you can tell, this green piece is kind of tall compared to the other ones. So I'm just going to pick it out with my fingers. And dump the rest of that in there. There we go. Take this one out too. Okay, so now we're going to lift up the foam tape. I'm going to start from this corner since it already peeled up. And there you go. Take your top sheet, peel off the other liner. If you have Sharpie here at the top, that means you haven't peeled it off yet. If you do not have Sharpie, that means you already peeled it off. Now we're gonna look at this down from the top, kind of like that. And it's gonna be much easier to center it. Now I kind of use my fingers over the edge of it and I line it up with the foam tape before I stick everything down all the way. And it really helps making sure that I have everything centered. And look at that. We have Oogie Boogie. So we're gonna push down, make sure everything is nice and tight. Shake it around, knock it around, make sure all of your foam tape is down all the way and nothing's gonna spill. And would you look at that? And last but not least, we have Miss Sally. So we have her outline, we have her face piece, we have her clear sheet, her red hair, and our backing piece, backing paper, and our small pieces, which are her eyes and lips. So we're gonna start out as always, lining this up, and then peel this backing paper off just a little bit. We're gonna line it up at the top, and I kind of like to use my fingers as a barrier. So you push, and then it lines up nicely. Doesn't go anywhere because your finger's in the way. It's a good thing. Then we'll push down at the top. Lift this silver piece up a little bit, pull it off, and line the rest of it up. And then now we're going to glue our red piece to our silver piece. making sure to concentrate your glue on the outline so that our foam tape doesn't lift up. And then you'll kind of just spread it all over the back. Center it. Okay, so as you probably noticed, there's an indentation here in the hair that looks like Sally's face piece. So what we're gonna do is line that up. So the very tip of her head should be on your right side. And then you can kind of line it up here, see where it's supposed to fit, flip it upside down, and then we're going to glue it where that line is. So this doesn't have to be as particular on the sides. Gonna flip that over and then put it right where the indents are. And then press it down. And there you have it. So next we're going to have our acetate. Now the top part facing up is going to be this corner that kind of pokes out a little on your right side. So we're gonna peel that off and take your outline. And again, we're just gonna do little dots because you don't need that much glue. And even tinier dots for her little eyepieces. There's our little glue dots. And then we're going to turn it over and glue it to our clear sheet. Push it down and let it naturally fall so that it lines up correctly with your back piece. So we're just gonna press with our fingers down. And make sure everything is on correctly. And then now we're going to take our tiny pieces in our baggie, squeeze it just a little on the zipper and it should all come out. We're gonna dry fit these pieces to make sure they're the right direction. So it looks like my lips are backwards. I'll turn them upside down. See if they fit. There we go. And then I'll put glue in it. I'm just gonna pick it up with my finger. If you have tweezers, this is a great spot to use tweezers. Push it down and there are her lips. Now the eyes, I believe, are a little bit different too, so we'll just try to fit those in there. You'll be able to tell with the points in her eyelashes if they line up. So see, this one kind of lines up okay, but let's just check the other side just in case. That one looks like it lines up a little bit better, so we'll keep that there. And then push this in there. And they fit nicely, so now we'll go ahead and add our glue. And push that in. Same for this side. And there you have it. Just like a puzzle piece. Now, if you have a pen, we're going to draw the eyes on, which is super simple. I know it's intimidating for a lot of things, but we're just gonna go in the center corner of her eye like this and draw a little circle. And that's it. You can move them around because I kind of got crazy eyes, but it's all good. Oh, I can't pick it up. There you go. And now we're going to do the foam tape. So we're actually going to start on the inside and go to the outside. So remember, we always like to put the opening of the tape on the top so that our glitter doesn't fall out if it's not closed all the way. And we're going to follow the outside of this blue outline. So you don't want to get the tape on the blue outline, but you want to be right next to it. And then we're just going to follow it all the way around. And I'm going to tear the paper at the tip there to make sure it all curves nicely. And press and go. My paper lifted up a little bit, not the end of the world. Gonna go to the bottom, and then here we're gonna make that sharp corner by pressing really hard with the hand on top of the foam tape, and then pulling really hard with this side, holding the reel. So then we're just gonna pull, go around, and keep going. Once we get to the top, we'll cut it over the overlap. And there's the center. I'm gonna try to put this back here. Now we're going to do her hair. Okay, so normally I would say start the foam tape at the top, but right now we are trying to maximize the amount of foam tape we use. So we're gonna flip it upside down and push this end as close to this as possible. If you want to overlap it, you can totally overlap it too. That's what I'm gonna do. And then you'll push down, and see, there's not even a gap. We're gonna push with this finger, pull with your other hand, and go all the way around the edge of her hair. And then once we get to the end, I'm gonna overlap it a little bit more on this side too, just because it's at the bottom. And I'm just gonna snip that off. And there's all your foam tape. Now we get to do the glitter. So I'm gonna do the center of her face first, which is the rest of the glitter from Jack Skellington. And I'm just gonna scoop some into her face. You can pour it if you feel comfortable pouring it. And we're just gonna shake and flatten it out a little bit. I can fit a little bit more in there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. We're going to move on to the red now. That star is just gonna stay there. And then I'm gonna concentrate putting it at the bottom of her hair and maybe in this top corner, but these little spots on this side are gonna be a little bit too thin. And if you get some overlap, that's totally fine. You can pick it out or leave it. It's your magnet. I'm gonna shake it a little bit. Okay, now you'll probably have a lot of this left over. Just put the cap back on so you don't spill it. Then we are going to peel off the backing paper from your acetate. If you have Sharpie on the top, that means your cover is still on there and you need to peel it off. So now it's nice and shiny. You can see right through it. And we're going to peel off the rest of this foam tape. I like using my tweezers for this too, if you have them. And we're gonna shake it a little and make sure it's super flat. When you shake it, you're just keeping it on the table and moving it back and forth. And then again, we're going to look at it from a bird's eye view so that we can get it as centered as possible. I'm gonna put my fingers halfway through, maybe even more, it just depends on what you're comfortable with, so that the bottom of my finger can line up with the bottom of my foam tape, and kind of hug it so that I can push it on. Once you have it nice and centered, go ahead and push down. Do the outside, and then don't forget to also push down on the inside. So you want to go around her whole face. Push down, and then you'll shake it. Make sure you have no leaking glitter. And there you have Miss Sally. There you go. Wish I could show you them glowing in the dark, but it is not nighttime right now like it usually is when I record these. So it's not dark enough. But we have our magnets. Thank you guys so much for joining us on making our Nightmare Before Christmas DIY kits. I hope you had a fantastic time, and join us on any of the other kits. I will link what we have down below in the description, and I hope to see you next time. Happy crafting!